Uh-oh, it looks like we piqued your interest in the Hideout. First of all, let me tell you what the Hideout is not. The Hideout is not for hustlers, for grinders, or for people who are looking for a shortcut to what the world calls success. The Hideout is about growing as men, creating lifelong friendships, and having the time of our lives. Are you ready to tap in to the endless source that will take you from success to significance? The Hideout is 2.5 days of hiking, biking, and doing the little things that it takes to create lifelong friendships. I find that joy is nothing more than falling in love with your current circumstances and allowing magic to happen. And that's when we see growth in every area of your life. Have you accomplished your goals professionally and financially, and you still thirst for something more? Has success in these areas come at the expense of far more valuable things, like your family, your children, and your relationships? Alignment in business, strategic partnerships, and joint ventures all come from true relationships. The Hideout is designed to get to know people before you'll ever meet them. This is not your typical mastermind. The Hideout is focused on the one thing that will fuel everything: joy. And when joy is overflowing in your life, you'll find growth in your marriage, your relationships, and oh yeah, your business. Welcome to the Kelly Cardenas podcast, where attitude is everything. On today's show, I was so excited to be able to have this young man on. I was talking to my brother this morning, one of my biggest mentors, and I was telling him, and I didn't even have to get out the whole entire description of this man. My brother was like, oh yeah, long snapper for Tulane. Like right off the bat, he knew exactly who I was talking about. This young man is an absolute phenomenon. He's the first person to ever play in a Division I football game being legally blind. And I just think, I mean, we all have, challenges. We all have things that we have excuses. Well, today, get ready to lay down every one of those excuses that you ever had in your entire life and be inspired by not only a keynote speaker, a founder, a CEO of a new company that we're going to be talking about as it comes about, but this man is just an incredible, incredible human being. So please welcome to the show, Mr. Aaron Golub.
Yeah, thank you so much for that intro. Excited to be here talking with you today.
Well, it's incredible, man. I know you were down in Tulane, and now you're in Boston. The big question is, are you a Sox fan now, or where's your fandom, my man?
From Boston originally, always, Patriots, Red Sox fan. I do like the Saints, as an NFC team. I root for them as long as they're not playing the Patriots, but definitely a big Boston sports fan.
That's awesome, man. Well, it's tough for me because I'm a Tennessee Titans fan, but I like to see your boy Brady, get after it, which I think is amazing. Let's hop right in, Aaron. I mean, the tagline, man, being the first legally blind athlete, or football player to play in a Division I football game. I mean, how's that even possible? Like the number one thing, and not number one thing, I guess you killed that for all of us. But being able to play, I mean, what in your head, that belief system had to be at a amazing level. Was there opposition to this early on?
When I was growing up, I was not the athlete that I turned into. I was not an athletic kid. I was not strong. I was not big. I was not fast. I was terrible. Sophomore year of high school, I was a third string junior varsity center and defensive tackle. And that was who I was. And I always knew I wanted more. I wanted something different. I wanted to play at the highest level I could. And I just made a decision my sophomore year, at the beginning of the season. I was like, I'm going to play Division I football, and I don't care what other people think. I didn't care about others' opinions. It just didn't matter to me. And I found long snapping, and I realized that if I got good enough at this unique niche position, I might have an opportunity. And from then on out, it was, what do I need to do to work, 10, 20, 30 times harder than everyone else, just so I could be as good as them, if not better than them. And, I went to school. I woke up every morning at 5 a.m., practiced long snapping. I went to school. I went to practice with the team. I lifted weights every single evening, and I did that every single day for the next 3 years, and until I got to the point that I was one of the top long snappers in the nation.
So, Aaron, help me with this. So help me with this because, Were you born blind, or was it something
Yep.
that happened over time?
Yeah. So born with no vision in my right eye and limited in my left.
Okay. So limited on your left, how much?
I mean, it's a very small hole that I see out of. It's not through directly through my pupil. It's kind of off to the side. And I mean, like I can see you on the screen, but like if there's something written on your shirt, I have no idea what it says. I can't
Okay.
tell you what your eye color. When I look at my phone, I hold my phone like this, and I have large, print on it. So it's not like it's a ton by any means.
Who helped you to, who gave you the permission? I was just talking with my friend the other day, and I think one of the biggest things is, early on in life, I think one of the greatest things that you could ever get from anyone, or what you can give to anyone, is permission to just try. So who gave you that permission from an early age? Because a lot of times, maybe as a parent, we want to, if I'm your parent, I maybe want to protect you from, maybe not going through the challenges that you would, because I see if you try, then maybe it's not going to work out. Who gave you that permission early on?
You know, I personally, I don't know if I necessarily like the word permission. However,
Okay.
I think that my parents, my sister, my coaches were very supportive and helped to push me in the right directions. And if I wanted to do something, they would, support me in any way that they could. Obviously, my parents were concerned, coaches were concerned in the beginning, but for me, I feel like the permission comes from within. And the reason I say that, I didn't like the word permission is because I don't believe that anyone can give you or take away permission to do something. If you want to do something, it's giving yourself the permission to do it. Now, the other comment there is who gave support or who supported you. My parents fully supported me. My mom, my dad, my sister, my coaches. They did whatever they could once they realized it was what I wanted to do to help me get there. But I think the permission comes from, if you want something, do you give yourself the permission to do it?
How do you get to that point? I mean, because this is a confidence thing, right? I mean, how does one build the type of confidence that you have to go after? Because I mean, what you're talking about and what you went after, in Division I, I don't know how many Division I football teams are there in the country?
A little like 120 maybe. I don't know the exact number. I think it's around there.
So, I mean, to put that in perspective out there for you listening, this young man who had a situation in his life that a lot of people would count him out, he went after a position. There's only 120 positions in the whole entire world, and he was able to get it. This is incredible. So talk to us about that confidence and how people can build the confidence no matter where they're at.
Yeah, I mean, look, when I was younger, when I was in, elementary school, middle school, even, high school for a degree, I didn't have that sense of confidence, that sense of, knowing who I was in that degree. And I think getting good at football brought that to me. I think that once I found something that I was truly dedicated to, truly committed to, I completely changed my body through lifting every single day. I went from being, scrawny and skinny to, when I got to college, like, I was lifting with some of the strongest guys on the team. I turned myself into that person because I knew what I had to do. I think it's about understanding the goal that you have and doing everything you can to attack it. Most people don't have confidence because I think they believe that they're a person who doesn't follow through with what they say they're going to do. They don't believe that they're worthy of something, whatever it may be. And, an easy trick to just build confidence is when you say you're going to do something, go ahead and do it. The amount of people who say they're going to wake up at 5 a.m. and go to the gym, and I'm not advocating for it and saying you have to wake up at 5. I do it a lot of the time. At least, we talked before that right now I've been between Boston and LA. And when I'm in Boston, I wake up at 5. LA, my schedule is, different. And I have to kind of find the rhythm for when I'm moving there because, when I wake up, sometimes if I have a call at 9, that's 6 a.m. there. And so haven't really quite found that rhythm yet, but I will find it soon. But my point there is like, you don't necessarily need to wake up at 5, but if you say you're going to wake up at 5, wake up at 5. If you say you're going to wake up at 6, wake up at 6. Stop hitting the snooze button. If you say you're going to go to the gym tomorrow, go to the gym tomorrow. If you say you're going to do these 7 tasks on your to-do list, do those 7 tasks on your to-do list. Stop procrastinating, because the more you procrastinate, the more you're losing confidence in yourself. The more you continue to do the things you say you're going to do, you build that confidence because you build yourself as a person who says, I do what I say I'm going to do. So I have that confidence to continue to grow.
I think one of the most inspiring things, Aaron, is, and my brother told me this, is not about all the successes that a person has, but the failures that they have, because then we see that the person is human. I mean, seeing you perform at the level that you perform and being up at 5 a.m, there's a lot of people out there listening and they're like, Aaron, maybe I could get up at 7. Maybe I could get up at 9. You know what I'm
But
saying?
that's
Like,
fine. That's
yeah,
fine though. Like the thing is people think that they have to wake up at a certain time. And look, I like waking up early. I think it is good for people too, but that's another discussion. I think that it's totally cool if you wake up at 7, but then maybe you're up later at the night, doing stuff. Or, maybe you want to wake up earlier, but you don't know how to. And so one of the things that I talk about all the time is like, look, you say you want to go at 5 and go to the gym and you normally wake up at 7. And the one day you woke up at 5, you did it. And then by 2 p.m. you were burnt out and you were like, I'm never doing this again. That's because you shocked your system by waking up 2 hours early. So instead, how about every day for a week, you wake up 10 minutes early at 6:50. Next week you do 6:40. The next week you do 6:30, and you gradually do it to build back to that, because then you'll actually build that consistency and be able to do it.
I think a thing that I hear in you is, I mean, which is not normal. When you're a high performer like you are, you have crazy empathy. And I just heard it in what you were talking about, because when I was saying, a person can't wake up at 5 o'clock, and you were like, well, if you can't, then that's okay. Most of the time, hard charging people like yourself that are performers, they have the tendency to expect that out of every other person. Where did you learn that empathy, or was it just a God-given gift for you?
I think I've gotten it from my parents, coaches, people around me. It's something I've had to learn and develop. It's not a natural skill set for me. I think that I've realized that not everyone is me. And so if I'm working with, teammates on something and I think we need to get some project done, well, everyone has their own ways of working. And like, yeah, I want it done by tomorrow. Well, that's not necessarily going to happen, and life happens. And you got to learn to be more compassionate and empathetic. But that is not something that I'm naturally good at. It's something that I have to pay attention to. And I've gotten a lot better at over time, and understanding others and being there. And it's something that I think over the past probably 4 or so years has really developed to the point that it's getting pretty natural for me now. But it's something that I've really had to focus on and develop.
Who's the person who doesn't cut you any slack? Like, my brother doesn't cut me any slack. Like, if this morning I messed up with my daughter yesterday, and McKenna, hopefully you listened to this, and I screwed up. She's 13 years old. I went off, and I reacted based off of what I thought she should react, because the way she should react the way that I thought. And my brother was like, and he handled me this morning. Who is the person who calls you on your doo-doo, Aaron?
Yeah, I think it's always when I was younger, for example, in college, I'll give an example of like my coaches understood that I responded well to, certain things. Some people respond well to positive reinforcement. And I think that is, for the majority of people, that is awesome. Now, when we are lifting weights, I respond very well to people screaming at me and yelling at me. It was funny. Who I am responds better to that. When I was back in college, and even today, if I'm trying to squat a ton of weight or bench a ton of weight, I want to get mad and angry, and someone who can put me in that state of mind is how I'm going to perform the best. Now, today, someone who continues to hold me accountable, I wouldn't say it's necessarily a specific person. Like, yes, I can think of business partners who check in and make sure I'm okay, or doing the right things, but I don't necessarily have someone who I work with every single day who says, why are you doing this, or why aren't you doing that? I think I'm very good at holding myself accountable. And I think to be a good entrepreneur, you have to be good at holding yourself accountable, because no one else is going to do the work for you. As I develop the company I'm building that we'll get into later, that will probably come where sooner or later we'll bring on someone who, I'm working with even more often, who will do that. There is one partner in the company who I, talk with, a ton, but it's not like he always holds me accountable in that sense, but he's a really big mentor to me, and maybe that will be more of him. I don't know, but it's not, I can't think of a specific person that I have right here now.
So you talked about earlier where you had to switch positions. This was, you said sophomore, junior year, where you switched positions, and you said, hey, I'm not doing this thing. I see a lane, and I can go down this long snapping lane. A lot of people don't have the ability to be able to adjust, especially adjust on the fly like that, because their ego tells them, no, I'm a center, or I'm a tackle, or I'm a receiver. And you look at even one of your boys, Julian Edelman, amazing quarterback, and then he had to turn into receiver. Talk to us a little bit about this ability to be able to iterate and how important that's been to the success in your life.
Well, the biggest thing is what you already said. It's getting rid of your ego. If you have an ego, then that is always going to stand in your way. And understanding that if you want to do something and do something great, if you want to be part of a team, if you want to accomplish amazing goals, like it might necessarily not be what you thought it was, or you might need to change your behaviors, or you might need to change what you're doing a little bit, and you need to check your ego. And so, for me, switching positions was, what can I do for me to get there? I knew I couldn't be at the positions that I wanted to play, and that's okay. I found what worked well for me. And I think the second that people learn to check their ego and accept their circumstances and then make their circumstances amazing, then they're able to accomplish great things.
So I love this, what you were talking about, the circumstantial part, because what my pops taught me and my mom taught me was that joy was nothing more than falling in love with your current circumstances and allowing magic to happen. Can you talk to us about how that definition of joy, and I'm not saying it's your definition of joy, but it's basically what you just said. Can you talk to us too about how that has impacted and created opportunities that maybe sometimes wouldn't have been there?
Yeah, I mean, look. So I say this all the time. I'm so thankful and grateful and blessed that I was born legally blind. It's the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. Because if I wasn't born legally blind, I might not have played Division I football. I might not have been an NFL free agent. I might not, be a keynote speaker. I might not be an entrepreneur. I might not be, have owning my own businesses. I wouldn't have the relationships I have today. I wouldn't have the story I have today. And so when I look at it that way, have that perspective, it's joyful. I'm grateful. I'm thankful for that circumstance. Now, do I know that my life would be different if I had vision? I have no idea. I might have still been a D1 athlete. I have no clue. I can't make that determination because I don't know what the path would have been. But I know for a fact that it allowed me to do what I've done today, and it's allowed me to do some pretty great things. And so when you can look at your circumstances as, and have gratitude around them, I think you become a lot happier, healthier. You become more fulfilled. You become more joyful. Your life gets so much better.
So talk to those kids out there that they're on the cusp. They're not in high school yet. They're they're standout athletes because there's a jump, right, from high school to college and then college to the pros, and it's almost, the jumps are so massive. Can you talk to those because you've experienced every single one of them?
Yeah, I think that the first thing is check your ego and understand that when you go to a new level, you are at the bottom of the totem pole. No one cares how good you were in high school. No one cares. It doesn't matter if you're an All-American. It doesn't matter if you were All-State. It doesn't matter. All that matters is you show up each and every day when you get to the next level and work your hardest and compete because you have to earn your spot. It will not be given to you no matter what you're doing.
How has that translated into business for you? Because I see a lot of times, there's both extremes. There's the high-level athletes that get out or during, we look at like the Shaqs of the world that get out and just become phenomenal entrepreneurs. You look at the Magic Johnsons of the world, phenomenal entrepreneur also. So they take that drive and competitive fire and they turn it right into that entrepreneurship. Then you see the other side that is like a high functioning athlete, and then you see videos or you see them and it's like they just couldn't let go of the glory part of it and get in and apply it in a different area. So, how have you been able to, because you've been able to be successful in both sides. And what's the recipe for that, I guess you would say?
Yeah, I think it's understanding who you are as a person and finding a way to make something great out of your life. Like I never understand the athletes who finish playing and then blow all their money, on partying and different things and, are screwed and don't know what to do with their lives. I think it's asking yourself, what do you actually want and checking your ego to make sure that you have, the right foundation to get to where you want to go.
So when you're dealing with friends, right, and a friend says, they've got a little bit of a challenge, sometimes I complain in life. I complained this morning to my brother, and he whooped me back into shape. He helped me to realize and helped me to shift that perspective a little bit, right? When we were talking about it earlier, as far as people holding you accountable, how about in your relationship? Does your lady cut you any slack? Because my wife doesn't cut me any slack at all, man.
Yeah, my girlfriend's amazing. I think she definitely holds me accountable in certain areas of in my life. And I think that when it comes to like having a shitty day or something, I think most people have bad days, bad weeks, allow those bad days to turn to bad weeks, allow those bad weeks to turn to bad months, allow those bad months to turn to bad years. And it's because they don't know how to fix them. They don't know how to hold themselves accountable or have others hold themselves accountable. They don't know how to shift their perspective. And so, yeah, like I might have a bad minute, I might have a bad hour, but I'm probably not going to have, yeah, I might have a bad day here and there, but I'm never going to have a bad week. I'm never going to have a bad month because I understand perspective. I understand, what I'm actually thankful for and grateful for. And I understand who's there to support me and to hold me accountable. And when you can focus on those areas, your shitty experiences will only last a certain amount of time.
So Aaron, when you're a high performer like you are, and I'm not saying that you're up at 5 a.m. every morning. We understand that you're not a superhero every day. On the West Coast you are, you said. When you get back to the East Coast, sometimes it's a little bit different. You've got like 7 calls from 2:30 to 6, which is unbelievable. What is the thing that Aaron does that gets no ROI, gets no return at all, but just makes you belly laugh and makes you joyful for no reason?
Yeah, I mean, there's a handful of things. I mean, for example, just like going on podcasts like this, like I enjoy it. It's fun. I like making an impact to, the people listening here, but there's no like seeable ROI. Now, do I know that a listener might take a look at this and say like, oh, I want to, check out Aaron's company, or I might want to book Aaron to speak or whatever. Yeah, absolutely. That might happen. And that does happen from time to time, but that's not my intention. My intention is, how can I make an impact? I know that doing things like this, don't create a, tangible ROI monetarily for me. I know that like I personally, I have people who help me with like creating content. I cannot, like I was spending time earlier. I'm trying to like grow my Twitter right now and my LinkedIn for, the stuff that I'm doing now. And I'm sitting down, I'm just like, I don't like this. Like, can I just like talk and have someone else deal with it? And that like, it's just, I don't want to do that. But I also understand that like coming up with those tweets and those threads and those LinkedIn posts will actually help me attract new people and not only help people, but will eventually bring a new business by using content marketing.
Yeah. So you're on your way out to LA. You're going to be moving out this way. I'm on the West Coast also, and I want to thank every single person for listening, which is on the East Coast, West Coast. We've even got some now we have Ghana. We just saw some listeners in Ghana, which was awesome. Thank you to Akila that was just on the show. But let's talk to that high school and college athlete, because now we have something that with the NIL, it changes the game. You didn't get a chance to be able to have this. How has that impacted the game? And let's talk about it in a positive and negative, because it's something that you have to get prepared for.
So I don't see any negatives with it, to be honest with you. I think it's a great opportunity. I'm sure there are some if I really dove into it more and learned about it. However, I think it's a great way for athletes who don't have time for jobs and things like that to earn some money. That being said, would I love to have had it, a sponsorship that paid me X amount in college to do things like, yeah. But what I would have actually used most of it for is to do exactly what I'm doing right here and right now. I would have created a brand around myself and monetized that within college, because then it would have put me 5 years ahead of what I'm doing now. I think that's the biggest thing. Like, yes, you could have found a sponsor, and I probably would have done that to get some, cash flow or whatever. But what I really would have focused on was like, how do I build myself into a brand around social media? I would have started probably to get paid to speak back then. I would have built other businesses and used that to attract things to me, because at the end of the day, like, unless you are an all-star and gone pro and things like that, you're not going to keep those sponsorships forever. And so I think the smart way to go about it is, yeah, you can look for that, but don't spend 100% of your time on that. If I was in college right now, I would be for myself and telling my teammates to like build a personal brand, build a company, build a business, and there's nothing stopping you from doing any of that now that NIL is happening.
How do you think that when I talk about the negative part of it, when we talk about a team sport, right, and then we add the personal brand part of it into it, how do you think that it's going to affect the synergy of teams as you move forward too? I mean, again, I wasn't a college athlete. I'm looking at it from the outside. I'm just looking at it from I'm judging, but I have no idea. I don't have a skin in the game.
Yeah.
But how do you think that impacts it?
At the end of the day, like, Yeah, there's going to be those assholes who are on the team and get a lot of followers on social media through things like that and have an ego, and I understand that, and they focus on that type of stuff, and it's absolutely ridiculous. The people who focus on how can I use this to my advantage, like, and how, or not to my advantage, but to help other people, to make an impact, to help grow a business, things like that. I think that is good for a team. People who are focused on using it for the greater good, not focusing it for themselves. Like, and I see it all the time with social media. It doesn't matter if you're in college or an athlete or you're just in the world of business and entrepreneurship. Like, people focus on getting followers. Like, I see people with like 10,000, 100,000, a million followers on Instagram or Twitter or whatever. And it's just like, followers don't equate to money. Followers don't equate to impact. Followers don't equate to any of this stuff. Like, I've met people who have 1,000 followers and rip cash. I've met people who have 100,000 followers and make absolutely nothing. Not saying that that cash is the only thing that matters either. It doesn't. But my point there is, like, I think people get way too stuck on, like, how many followers do you have for X, Y, and Z? Like, it genuinely doesn't matter.
How do you want, like, what is the legacy that you want to leave? Like, let's break it into, let's talk three different ways. Number one, what impact do you want to have in for the high school kids who are coming along that want to get to college? Let's talk about the college kids that maybe want to get to the pros, and then the pros who, you got a chance in the free agency market and everything like that. So let's talk to those three. Let's talk to the high school kids first. What impact do you want to, and legacy do you want to leave for them?
Yeah, make it known that, like, you can do anything you want, and if you want to play in college, then you have the ability to do that. Look, you might not be able to play at D1 or not. I don't know. It depends on A, your skill level, and B, your work ethic. But you can still find a spot. There's tons of schools out there at all levels, and if you keep working hard enough, you can make it there.
What do you wish you would have known in high school that you, like, looking back now, that you would have been able to be like, wow, this would have made my journey maybe a little bit, more like a little simpler? I'm not saying easy, but what do you wish you would have known?
So one thing that we didn't get into, and this applies here, is like understanding, for example, like business tactics and sales. Because to get a college offer, I contacted every school in the country. I cold emailed every single college coach. I cold called most of them or all of them. I showed up on a handful of campuses. And back then I did it, like, I wrote all these emails by hand and sent them one by one. And it took so much time. Now I send hundreds of emails a day through automation, and I click a button and they send, and that's it. And if I knew how to do that back then, if I had learned like those types of skill sets, my life I would have had so many more hours back in the day.
How many schools did you apply to?
Not a ton, only a handful, but I contacted every school in the country. And the way that recruiting goes is, if I had a good feeling, at the beginning of senior year, these are the ones I've been talking to, these are the ones I should apply to. But, I think I first got in touch with Tulane or they responded in like November or December of senior year, and I hadn't yet applied to them. I don't know when their kind of like deadline was, but they had showed some interest. So, we started talking, and, I waited a few weeks, and then I ended up applying. But that was kind of my thought of, like, if they really wanted me, like, they would work with me to make it happen also.
What about the college athlete? The college athlete, what legacy and what impact do you want to leave on them?
Yeah, similar to the high school in the sense of, like, keep going and building something for yourself and making an impact, especially with NIL now. Like, you can make a real difference and help other people. And I think while you're in college, especially, have fun doing what you love. You are in a great time of your life, and you can truly make an impact by building a brand for yourself, by playing your hardest each and every day, and knowing that, look, most people don't make it to the pros, and that's okay. And understanding that you need to enjoy, the time that you have playing football.
Talk to us, too, about the free agency part of it, because you came out here. Actually, we were talking before the show, and it was right. You were right down the street with John Carney. You were practicing for your pro day. You're doing those kind of things. Talk to us about the emotional part of, coming through college. You come against the odds. You play Division I. You get through with that. You come through your pro day. What are some of the emotions that you go through as you're doing those things, and that a person could get prepared for, that maybe when they are coming out of college?
Yeah, I mean, it's excitement, it's curiosity, it's uncertainty. You don't know what's going to happen. I think the biggest lesson there, though, is like there's a life after football, and I think more college, collegiate, and professional athletes need to know that. And I think we were talking about this a few minutes ago, of like the difference between the people who are very successful and not successful after athletics. Like, understand that you can create a foundation now. Let's just say I had made an NFL team. Let's suppose that had happened. I would have on the side started a business, whether it had been speaking or something else. I would have done something from day one to get myself prepared for, when football ends, because you never know when that's going to happen. And, yeah, in the season, super busy, and you might not have, tons of time to work on that. You might have a couple hours a day, but out of the season, you have tons of time, and you can do something to create something great. And that's what I would have done. And the advice I would give in those stages.
How much do you think attitude plays into this whole role for you? Because you're constantly fighting against the odds. I mean, you're applying for a position when you're coming out of high school that there's only 120 some odd positions for that, and then you're going to when you were going to the pros. I mean, you're talking what we got. Do we got 18 teams? We got 24 teams.
32.
32. Okay, so you got 32. You went from, I'm going to apply for a job that only 120 people can have, to I'm applying for a job that only 32 people can have in the whole entire world.
Yeah, and candidly, I didn't make an NFL roster. I talked to a handful of teams, and I tried, and I didn't make it, and I pivoted into other things. But, I think it's just having the mindset and the attitude of like, I will do whatever I can to make this happen. If it doesn't happen, you know, I tried my best, and that's it. I'm not a believer of like thinking of a plan B, but when it wasn't working out the way I wanted, there were other areas and things that I wanted to pursue in my life, and things that I had a passion for. So,
How much has your circle impacted this? Like, I'm very fortunate. I've got the same friends since I was in fourth grade. So we still get together. There's about 15 of us. Will, Dave, my brother Rob, Dale, Andy, Alfred, DeAndre. We've got we got this core group of guys that hang out, and it doesn't matter what I've ever done in my life. It doesn't matter whatever has been accomplished. They still hold me accountable. They make me laugh, and they bring me back to center, and they help me to realize what truly matters in life. How much has your circle, if any, had on you?
yeah, and I think I'm different to a degree, in the sense of like, yes, I do have a handful of friends from childhood and high school, and there's a few that I see on a fairly regular basis, or whenever I can, and hang out with them. But I think I've developed a lot of different relationships along the way. Like, the people that I talk to the most are people I'm building a business with, and the people I'm building a business with have become some of my best friends. Um, and it's people that I have known for a few years, but I haven't known for more than 3 years maybe, and I've really enjoyed that. And I think it just depends. Like, I definitely feel centered and grounded, with them, and with the people that I've known for a long time. But I'm also someone who I keep my circle fairly small, and that's okay. I also am someone who, like, I'll have friends that I maybe don't talk to for 6 months, but then because we just either we're living different places, or we're not doing the same thing, and that's totally fine. Then I see them, it's like nothing ever happened. But I have business partners that I talk to every single day that are friends of mine, that we could go 6 months. Well, actually, we probably couldn't go 6 months without talking, because it would be a shit show. But you get the point there.
Yeah. So what are some of the qualities, like when you're looking, let's go into that business aspect of it, and what are some of the qualities that you're looking for in people? Because for me, I've got a chance to, in partnering with different people, a lot of times, you end up with the character of the person. You don't end up with the profit of the business. And so what are some of the things that your spidey sense goes up on, or what are some of the things that will allow a person to be in your life for longer?
Yeah, I mean, I think when it comes to like business, are you saying, or just any
I
relationships?
would say let's go business first.
A strong work ethic, someone who works hard and smart, and knows the difference between them, because working smart oftentimes in business is better than working hard to a degree. Good communication skills, and someone who complements the things that I'm not good at. So, like, one of my business partners, who's basically like the chief operating officer of what we have going on, like, I love learning about automation. I've gotten, I'm probably better at automation and systems than 99% of people. And he's 1,000 times better than me. And I will never be that good because I just don't have an interest in, going through all the crap that it takes to get that good at it. And I understand that I need him and I need his help. And I also like working with him. But, it's someone like that who has the skill sets that I don't have.
What about in a friend? What causes you to stay in touch with somebody? I
Yeah.
mean,
I think someone who I've just built a relationship with or a bond with, and we have things in common. We enjoy talking to each other. It's just someone who we can pick up from where we last were, despite how much time has passed.
what is what are some of the things that you guys do? You said that you stay in touch with a kind of handful and you keep your circle small. Was that because of certain situations in your life? I mean, did certain things happen?
No, not necessarily. It's kind of just people drift apart, and you don't stay in touch, and if you don't necessarily still have things in common, you just don't keep in touch with people, and that's not the end of the world. But the handful that I keep in touch with, we're not every one of my friends are business owners or entrepreneurs by any means. Especially from when I was younger, most of them have typical 9 to 5 jobs, and that's totally cool. And it's you know we still have a lot of things in common. Maybe it's sports, maybe it's athletics, maybe it's whatever it is, and it's finding time just to go out to eat or grab a drink together and something like that.
So playing at the levels that you have, can you enjoy sports now, or are you evaluating them? You know what I mean? Because I think I have friends who are in lighting, right? In lighting with concerts or managing large acts. And when they go to a concert, they're looking and seeing like, how's the microphone working? How's the lights? How's those things? And I ask them, can you sit back, relax, and can you enjoy the concert? They say sometimes, but they're constantly focusing in. Are you that way when you're enjoying sports?
I mean, I know people who watch football every single Sunday, every single game, or watch every single basketball game, and like I'm never that person. I never will be because I don't have an interest.
Okay.
I watch what I care about. And so like I watch Tulane football, when they're on. I watch the Patriots when they're on, but like I'm not going to watch any other football game unless it's like a big one. Like yeah, obviously I'm going to watch like Alabama LSU or something. Like that's exciting for me. I'll watch something like that, but not really much else. And it's not that I don't care, but I don't care. Like at the end of the day, like what the I don't know Buffalo Bills do doesn't affect my life. And I even think about that with the teams I like. Like the Patriots lose a game, if Mac Jones throws an interception, like how does that affect me? Like if we don't win the Super Bowl this year, do I wish we did? But like, does it affect my life? No. Like I would rather go build a business and make an impact and make a ton of money than have the Patriots win the Super Bowl next year. Like it genuinely doesn't affect me. Like yeah, of course I want them to win. They're my team, but
Yeah.
I think I can separate the emotions from it, and most fans can't. And I look at it and I think it's ridiculous. I also don't understand, and I obviously did this when I was younger, but I don't get why people wear jerseys with other people's names on the back. I think it's the dumbest thing in the world. Like obviously I have like a Brady jersey that I wore when I was younger, but like I don't wear that shit anymore because I don't understand it. Like I had jerseys with my name on my back. Why do I want to put a jersey on with another man's name on their back? Like I'll wear just a Patriot shirt with no one's name on it, or like this shirt to a game. Like
Yeah.
I don't understand it anymore. I just don't get it.
So again, I want to go back to the part of Aaron letting loose, right? Because I mean, you're a super focused individual. I mean, you're obviously with your business that you're going to do, it's going to be very successful. Every single thing that you've done is successful. When does Aaron just get to let loose, and when does Aaron just get to belly laugh? Like
Yeah.
when you were talking about it, I'm an irrational fan. Like I am. Like the
Yeah.
reason why I want the Titans to win the Super Bowl is because I want to call every single one of my buddies and be like, I told you so for the last 47 years that it's coming. And this gets
Yeah.
me nothing at all. Nothing. I
Yeah.
mean, I probably shouldn't like them as much as I do. But what
But it's what your interest in your hobby is, and that's fine. And like
No,
yes,
no.
I like football and I love football,
Absolutely.
but it's to a different degree, I guess.
But what
Probably
makes
because
you
I
laugh?
played.
Like what makes you
Yeah.
laugh like crazy? Like that is like I like ice cream sandwiches. They don't do anything for my fitness,
Yeah.
but I just like them, and I like Carnation. Like I want
Yeah,
them to
I mean,
sponsor the show at some point.
honestly, I think it's just having a good time. Like I love going out to eat or going to a bar with friends or with my girlfriend and friends and enjoying the weather, going to the beach, going, doing some activity outside and just just having fun and living life. Like that's what I enjoy, is just in, creating experiences and memories. And I think that's what I find the most fun out of when I'm not involved with like business.
What was the most challenging thing while you were there in Tulane?
Um,
Because it
I
seems like
think,
things came pretty simple to you. Not simple, but I mean, you work hard. Like you got phenomenal work
yeah,
ethic. You got a crazy, like amazing attitude. You've got these things, these intangible things. What was the hard part for you? What was the challenging?
yeah, sophomore year, after I played for the first time, 2 months later, my coaching staff got fired. We went 3-9 my freshman sophomore year, and they were gone. And so I was put into this situation in a position of uncertainty because I contacted every school in the country. Tulane gave me a shot. I didn't know if the new coach was going to give me an opportunity. And so I thought about transferring schools. I thought about quitting football. I thought about a lot, and I almost did those things. And thankfully, when the new coach came in, I ended up, sitting down with him and having a discussion. He was unsure and uncertain, mainly because he just never worked with someone like me before.
Yeah.
And we came to an agreement of just like, let's try spring ball and see what happens. And we never had that conversation again. It went really well. I was named team captain 2 years later. Like, it was done. But I created all this anxiety in my head because I just didn't know, and I was so uncertain.
Now, how is it? You said, is it your right eye that is gone? That's no
Yep.
sight at all, and left side you have a little bit.
Yep.
So talk to us about like how are you able to adjust? Because being a long snapper, you've got people coming from both sides. Do you have a heightened aware, or like people would talk about it when someone loses their sight, that they could hear better,
Yeah.
that they could feel better?
You
Is
know,
this true?
I mean, no, it's not like scientifically no. But do I pay more attention to it when I'm crossing a street? Yeah, absolutely. But can I actually hear better? No, I just maybe pay more attention to it. I think
Okay.
two things. A, I'd snap the ball and I'd pop up and I would hit the first person I see. That was the first thing.
Okay.
Second, whenever I was in, the guards on either side of me knew that like they were protecting the inside gap.
Got it.
And so they were going to, hit the people there, and then I would take out whoever was in front of me. And they understood that they had to be aware of, when I was in, when someone else was in, and know that, okay, Aaron's in, like, let's give some extra attention and pay more attention and make sure we're good.
So what? Let's move on into the next stage of your life, which I think is amazing. What is, and I love it because where just exactly what you were explaining right there, where you had a blind spot, your guys were stepping in. Right? Your team was stepping in. You're relying on them. You said the same exact thing in business. Where you have blind spots in business, you want to surround yourself with people who are 1,000 times better than you at that thing. I just think that that's amazing. What is the business that you guys are working on, and what can we look forward to from Aaron?
Yeah. So the main business, I'm involved in a couple others, kind of just very minority positions, helping them grow. But my main business is called Initiate Connections, and everything will be live in the next few days or a week or two. And basically what I realized is over the past few years, I love speaking. It's awesome. I do it well, but it's not scalable, at least to the degree that I want. And so what we're doing is creating this company that allows for me and my team to do speeches, workshops, and consulting with companies. And so it might be a one-time keynote that I do, or one of my partners does. It might be a workshop where we do a 1 to 3 day workshop on the different topics we work in with companies or organizations. It might be a 6-month or 12-month consulting agreement where we dive in different areas. However, we are right now bringing on, in the immediate future, a select few. In the long term, probably more. I don't know how many, but a select few professional athletes, executives of company, high profile entrepreneurs that can fill into these spots. And so not only can a company book one of them for like a one-time keynote, if they say, hey, we see you have this NFL player, we want to bring them in for a keynote. But also if we have a workshop that's focused on, let's just say, leadership, maybe we do that for 2 days and I run a keynote, I run some small group sessions. Maybe this NFL guy or this executive comes in and does a keynote and does some small group sessions as well to lighten the burden on me and kind of my partner, as well as like, if we have these lined up where we're sending these people to keynotes all over, my team and I are getting a piece of that, and we don't need to do all that traveling. So it's a combination of that and really making, connections and impact at these different organizations through speeches, workshops, and consulting on the topics that we work within.
What's the impact that you want to make, man? I mean, like say for instance with myself, like, through all the things that I've had the chance to do, I simply want to bring joy to people. I want to bring joy to the world. And joy not meaning like, hey, you're happy, but just the fact that you fall in love with your current circumstances and allow magic to happen. And, so what's that impact, that you want to have, or the challenge that you want to solve as you move ahead? I mean, you talked about the challenge that you want to solve where the speaking for you is not scalable, right? But I'm talking about to your audience, to the companies out there that are saying like, well, number one, if you're a company out there, you need to have Aaron come and speak for you, because, I mean, I think every single person in the room is going to have to drop every excuse that they have on performance because Aaron has already broken those barriers. But what's the challenge that you want to solve for the companies that you're working with?
Yeah, I mean, right now there's a handful of topics. There's, I think, 4 that we are focusing on, and that will expand down the road. But I think the biggest area is like showing people that it doesn't matter the challenge, the obstacle, the adversity that they're facing, that with the right tactics and strategies and mentality and perspective, they can shift that and accomplish anything.
Well, and now when do you think it's enough, right? And this is a question that is sometimes tough, but say when we're hard charging, when we're entrepreneurs, when we're building, when we're growing, when we're scaling, when is it enough?
It never is. I enjoy the process of what I'm doing. And if I'm not doing this, if one day I build this company and I sell it, I'll start something else. Like, my only question is, ask me in 40 years from now. I enjoy being an entrepreneur, and it's never going to be enough.
How do you think that'll translate into relationships? Because, I've found that a lot of times when we have, whether it be systematic or tactical ways to be able to become successful in business, those things don't translate into relationships, especially not only relationships as far as friendships, but especially with a significant other, with your woman. How have you had to adjust your focus when you're dealing with your lady?
It's the number one thing is just being present. Every single thing that you're doing when you're in business, be present where you are. When I'm on this podcast, my focus is 100% on you and what I can do to impact your audience and be present there. When I'm with my girlfriend, it's 100% being present with her. The people who think that like you have to pick one or the other of relationship or your fitness or your business, like lack of a better term, they're idiots. Like, you can have everything. You just need to be present with what you're doing, understand what you want out of life. And when you're doing that thing, focus on it 100%. Don't be half in, half out. Don't be with your significant other and, texting your business partners or responding to emails. Like, yeah, I need to check myself on that sometimes. And I'm sure she would yell at me occasionally for doing it, but I also really focus on it. And it's about like, okay, you're having dinner, maybe put your phone in the other room and you spend that actual time together and be present with what you're doing.
So 2 questions. When's the last time you failed in business specifically? And when's the last time you failed in your relationship with your lady?
I'm sure I fail in my relationship.
No, we want specifics though, Aaron. We aren't going for this overlying, I mess up all the time. We want specifics. We want to know when's the last time that Aaron, the superhero, screwed up, because then that way you'll become human to all of us and we'll realize that we're not that bad of people.
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess right now it definitely has been hard being long distance, and so
what'd you do?
A lot. Not. Well,
Aaron, example, come on, bro. Let's go. You said there's nothing off limits, man.
Yeah. So I'm trying to give you an answer. So one thing that I feel like I've done fairly often is we're on the phone, and because I'm not actually there in person with her, and we're just talking on the phone, I'll be sitting on my, talking on my phone, and stuff will come across my computer, and I'll be responding to emails, or I'll be, doing something that is I want to get done for my business, and I'm not paying full attention. And I'm much better about that in person. But when we're not together and we're just on a phone call, I'm not necessarily the best about that.
Has she caught you in the last couple of weeks? Has she been like, Aaron, you're not 100%. Doing this?
100%. If I'm not like that responsive, or she knows.
Did you try and play it off?
No, I own up to it. I say, you're right, I'm doing XYZ.
Do you own up to it immediately? And
yes, I do.
And is that a tactic? Is that one of the systems that you have?
No, it's something that you just should do. In my opinion, it's just honesty, and it's better that way.
Okay, all right. Talk to us about business, man. When's the last time you screwed up in business? I want to give you an example, because I don't want any of this overarching garbage. I want something specific, and I want to know that you screwed up on March 14th. 2020, March 14th, I had a meeting with my company, And I told him, this is not that big of a deal. I've been through worse. I've been through 9/11. This thing that they call the pandemic and coronavirus will be done in about 3 days. And we'll be back to work and people will be laughing about it. This was recorded on video on March 14th, 2020. On March 16th, the world shut down. So I was a complete ass, and I have it on video. Tell us something specifically when you screwed up in business the last time, Aaron.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to think of what degree to explain. So, like, one that happened, the other day is, I was sending out email campaigns and outreach campaigns, and I get an email back from someone. His name was, I don't remember what his first name was, like Roger or Robert or something. His last name was like, I don't know, I'll just say like Johnson. And he was like, I don't respond to people who call me Johnson in the email. And I was like, hi, Johnson or something. And I just like screwed up stuff and addressed him by his last name. And I had to go in and fix all of that. So, yeah, there's little things like that. And honestly, like I didn't care. There's a million other people to contact. It doesn't matter.
Okay, so that one, you got off easy. I'm not letting you off easy, Aaron. I'm talking big screw up, man. Big screw up. Give me one. Come on.
No, yeah, I'm trying to think of a good big one to share. It's
I mean, have you lost money? There was one decision that I made, lost $1.2 million in 8 weeks. I made the decision, $1.2 million in 8 weeks, bang, like that, gone. And it was all my fault. All my fault.
Yeah, I'm honestly having trouble thinking of something that's like that big. Like, yeah, I screw up like little ways every single day. Something that's that big. And maybe it's just like I haven't been, business as long as you have, and it's been, 5 years in
No,
business.
I'm just not a superhero, man. Like I'm screwing up all the time. I'm making dumb decisions. I made a dumb decision with my daughter this morning.
No, but like I mess up all the time in the sense of like I'll lose clients. I've lost clients several times, and that's totally fine. Whether you say something bad or you respond bad or you forget to respond or you stuff like that. But I mean, I haven't done anything that's caused me to lose $1 million. I hope that never happens.
Hey, brother, if you're in business long enough, it will. It will. And get ready for a lawsuit too, man. The first time I had a lawsuit, I was like, man, I was so down in the dumps, and I called my partner, and she was like, that means you're in business, baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. And I think that part is a big one. Aaron, I am going to ask you for on your social media at some point, I want you to post a story that is very specific about some boneheaded decision, not I messed up on an email, man, and I don't care because I can get more clients. I'm talking about like, dude, like, I really want you to think about that, and I want you to hit us on the social media for it, which I think would be awesome.
And honestly, that's a really good question that I think I just haven't been asked before because I'm sure I have, but it's just to what degree? Because like I can probably name a million little things that I've screwed up in, but
I mean, when's the last time you said, Aaron? When's the last time you said, Aaron, I'm a bonehead? I'm not saying like it has to be $1 million, but it's scalable, right? When you were talking about if you wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, it's still waking up early to you. But what are some of the things that you've messed up, like that you've made really bad decisions? You haven't made good decisions your whole life, man. Like,
no, of course not.
You've made some boneheaded decisions. You're a superhero. I know there's a cape on you. If you're watching right now, you can see it on him. He's a handsome dude. And so when have you made that boneheaded mistake, man, and been like, and it could be in business or it could be personal. It could be friends. It could be any of those things, Yeah.
No, that's a really good question. I mean, it's just when is the last? I guess when you expand it outside of business, let's give that a thought for a second because I'm sure I can come up with something for that. Okay, I've got a good one, and for example, I'm in the process of helping. So my mom is a photographer.
Okay.
And so I'm in the process of helping her, sell images that are, on sale for something that she was doing for a project and, dealing with all of, restructuring her website and building out certain things and like giving her a template of like, this is what you need to do to sell stuff. And honestly, like I love helping other people. I really do. But I get very frustrated when someone doesn't understand any technology at all, or I have to walk them through step by step everything. And it's hard because, like, of course, I love my mom and I would do anything for her. But I definitely over the past couple of weeks have lost my temper and my cool with it and been like, like, this is ridiculous. You need to do X, Y, Z, and that is just something stupid that I shouldn't, lose my cool with at all. But it's just it gets hard for me because sometimes I go back into that, and it goes back to the conversation of like empathy, of thinking of like simply like, why can't you understand XYZ? And it's just because some people don't, and that's fine.
Well, I love that, man. I mean, I think everybody out there is feeling you because we've all been on the phone with our dad, and he's like, "How does the remote work?" And you're like, "Push the red button," and he's like, "Which red button?" And I mean, it's one of the most frustrating things in the entire world. So, I want to congratulate you on your business. For all of you listening out there, we're gonna place that in the bio. We'll put the link. It won't be live for how long? When does it go live?
I'm hoping the website will be live by like Monday.
Okay.
For the business.
So we're actually going to put the link in there, guys. It's not going to be live until Monday, but if you're looking for a speaker, honestly, I think that you found the match.
And for the time being, if someone's watching this before then, you can just go to my website, aarongolub.com. I always say it all the time when I'm on shows. Like, if I can help you with anything, if you're looking to either book a speaker, or if I can just help you and add impact and add value to your life, like, email me, aaron@aarongolub.com. Like, I'll respond.
But he won't call you by your last name if your name is Johnson now, because he learned his lesson. And he's definitely not going to give you technical advice.
That was automation. That wasn't me. That was an automated system.
So we opened it up because that wasn't a mistake that Aaron. Well, it was because it's a system part.
Because I should have fixed that somehow.
Okay.
I mean, I honestly don't know how that happened, because most of the other emails in that chain were correct with the first name, and I must have done something, just copied that or pasted something. I don't know. But
Well, I want to congratulate you, man. I want to congratulate you on not only the accomplishments. For me, the accomplishments are cool, but it's the person who you are, man. The heart that you have, and the dedication that you have to your craft, and how you're able to adjust, and how you have the ability to adapt. When you were playing a certain position in high school and you saw a lane in another area, you were able to switch positions. When you didn't make the team in the NFL, which understandably, you went for a job that there's only 32 positions in the world, you still were able to pivot, keep the same attitude, and transfer it into what it is that you're doing now, which I think is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So,
Appreciate that.
I mean, Aaron, it's incredible. It's incredible to spend time with you. I want to have a second episode. I would like to have you on again. And the reason why I want to have you on again, this whole next episode is going to be all the screw-ups of Aaron. And I want to hear every bad thing that you've ever done, the dumb stuff that you've said to your lady, because there's no man on earth that's been with a woman for more than 2 weeks that doesn't screw up on a day-to-day basis and say stupid stuff.
That.
So
I agree with that.
But Aaron, I started the podcast because of my kids. And I started it because of Maddox and McKenna. One's 10 years old and one's 13, about to be 11, and the other one is about to be 14. And I started it because I wanted to take iconic people like yourself that have broken barriers in this world. And I wanted to show them that there's no idols in the world, that there are simply people with amazing attitudes and crazy work ethic, and you are that example. What advice would you have for Maddox and McKenna? And if you could use both of their names, it would be amazing.
Yeah. First off, Maddox and McKenna, I think the two biggest things are, first off, don't worry about other people's judgments or opinions, because they truly don't matter. Focus on what you want and what you are passionate about. And number two is, you truly can accomplish anything you want through hard work and dedication and focusing on what you're trying to get done. You can learn to do anything. You can accomplish anything. It doesn't matter what other people say. Like, you can figure it out and do great things.
Well, I want to thank you, man. I mean, for all of you out there listening, I want to thank you for riding with us. I want you guys to check out the sponsors. You guys have been riding with us. It's been amazing. This is, we just had episode 200 just recently, and you guys have supported us to get us to the top 1% globally of all podcasts, which is very humbling. But like Aaron said, ask me in 40 years if that's enough. We still got a long way to go. We're just getting started with this thing. And Aaron, you have been phenomenal. You need to check him out at aarongolub.com. his new company, we're going to put that into. But most of all, get in touch with this man. Connect with him, whether it be through his social media, which will have his handles on there. But to be able to see a person that can break the type of barriers, but still be in that humble mind state, to be able to want to give back to other people and have an impact on people, and not just, looking to advance just self, but wanting to advance everyone along with it. Aaron, my hat's off to you. You're an amazing guy.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
And you are officially off the hot seat.